Coming up on today's wrestling news, AEW locker room leak revealed.
AEW is heading back to Wembley.
CM Punk loves working with Triple H.
And where the hell is this former AEW champion?
We're going to tell you. I'm Michael Hamflett.
And I'm Phil Chambers.
And this is the news. And we're starting with an AEW leak revealed / discussed. I got you. It's Marina Shafir. Not the leak in AEW, but somebody that was willing to talk about a leak that was in AEW back when lots of information was getting out and lots of talent meetings were suddenly randomly detailed on the internet for all to see. Marina went into a bit of detail on this in a kind of fascinating and eye-opening interview on Rule Breakers with Saraya, a new podcast featuring Saraya, formerly Saraya of AEW and Paige of WWE. The two, I guess now, former colleagues sat down for a long-form conversation. Should be noted this conversation took place just before All In. Marina had the briefcase with her that had the AEW World title in. She was talking in detail ultimately about how the last year has gone and changes in her AEW career alongside Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. And that's when she touched on, I guess, more tempestuous times within the AEW locker room. She said, quote, I want to get these words right, "We are not a clickbait outfit despite what you've already just clicked." Quote, "I don't know if you remember, I think this was either right after you came in or right before, there was a leak in the building to the dirt sheet or whatever. We would have meetings and then they would just address that." Yes, we all remember these talent meetings suspiciously going online pretty much immediately after they'd finished when the wrestlers had told the other wrestlers, "Don't leak this."
Yeah.
What was going on there? And she notes, the AEW leadership said, "If anyone wants help, ask us. We'd be more than happy to help." And I'm talking about the Young Bucks, Jericho, Mox, Brian, Kenny, I think maybe one or two more. Once the meeting was over, everybody got up and everybody just left. And they all just stood there with the dicks in their hands. That's the legends, that is. And they're like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And she doesn't infer that she was the only one, but she kind of makes it clear. I went right up to Mox and says, "I need help. I know I have something that's different. I know the nature of the beast will dilute it. And I know I'll be here one day, gone the other. If we can do something with it, cool. I'm willing and I'm ready to learn. I know I need the reps. I know it's not tailored. I just need help." Yes, I remember these talent meetings getting out there. I remember specifically this top table of talents that you can picture, the Young Bucks, Jericho, Moxley's, etc., saying, "Stop leaking." And then the information would come straight out. But yeah, I also remember, I think it was Kenny Omega had some fairly harsh words for a lot of the roster, and I think it was Brian and Jericho and Mox maybe had said, "Look, we're here to help, why is nobody asking?" It was pleasingly quite a different time in AEW to where we sit here in 2025. Yeah. But it looks like Marina Shafir is one of the ones that's put a hand up and said, "I really want to take advantage of this help." Jon Moxley was always super complimentary of her from watching her in the kind of the blood sport, Josh Barnett adjacent stuff. Brought her on, gave her some tips as a wrestler, and ultimately kind of brought her along as his number one in the Death Riders. She was the one ringside as the difference maker at All In. She was the one that was kind of alongside him, like Claudio and Yuta and the like were always more the Stooges and the guys to bump, and she was the difference maker. Yeah. And it looks like actually asking for the advice and taking the opportunity has benefited the both of them in the last 12 months. And I like this because it does feel, alongside the narrative of 2025, that maybe things have started to click back into place for AEW this year, locker room included.
Yeah, hopefully, more of this we see going forward, because it's it's a direct link from a thing happening to somebody actually obviously getting help and then being put in a position where they can help her out, but also they can shine a spotlight on her at the same time. And then she's been part of the biggest storyline in AEW for the last 6 months or whatever now. So it's this, it works out. It's a simple step from, yes, you need help, go ask someone, to, oh look, you're now in a position on the card, featured every single week, getting better and better and better. And it's hopefully that acts as an example to others that it's oh yeah, we can do the same thing. There's people here that can help us, obviously.
Must be pretty dispiriting for those top guys to be expecting queues of questions. Where's everybody gone? Right there.
Well, I guess everyone's fine then.
Yeah, no. I think as well, the Shafir, as you pointed out, not that I imagine she would necessarily like the pressure of suddenly being an influencer herself, but just simply by leading by example, it only takes somebody to ask her, "Well, what did you do?" And she says, "Well, actually, I did this." Yeah. And there's a fairly simple step to that. And if everybody does that just a little bit and that advice starts getting doled out and all that sort of thing, everybody gets better, right? It's the rising tide raising all the ships.
It feels like it's such a weird mix in AEW, because you get the stories about that meeting where everyone was all right, cool, see ya. Thanks for the paycheck, I'm going home. But then you get other things where it's sort of, I guess, the Wheeler Yutas of the world kind of thing that have obviously kind of latched themselves onto someone, people much better than themselves, obviously, because they're at very different stages in their career, and use that to help themselves out and get on the card and things. And it's there's key few people that have done that, and you can see that they've done that, and you can see the fruits of that. And then there's others that just disappear. It's like, where's the mix of this? Like, it's either one or the other, and it's like so wildly different.
AEW probably want long-term their kind of like data and information to stop getting out, don't they?
Yes.
And if you do too, you can get NordVPN, which is obviously going to protect your information online. Hey, having that one.
Nice.
Protect your information online, as well as giving you the opportunity to watch content from all over the world, depending on where you live, and streaming and all that kind of sort of stuff. And as we've kind of been plugging for ages, thank you so much for the awesome response to our NordVPN offer. It's meant we can continue it for longer. It's mainly because it's a really awesome one. 76% off. 4 months free, $50 Amazon card. I always worry that I'm going to forget one of these details because it doesn't sound real, quite frankly. Wouldn't plug
really
this unless we actually believed in it. It's an unbelievable deal. That is now on till the end of the month. I think the NordVPN offer has been extended. We will put all the information in the link in the description to this video. That's to reiterate, 76% off, 4 months free, and $50 Amazon for NordVPN, the market leader, the recognised leader in all VPN entertainment.
The longest running weekly episodic VPN in history.
There you go.
But speaking of great deals, AEW is going back to Wembley, and you can probably get a great deal on tickets. I don't know, I'm making that. Just needed a link, didn't they? But AEW are going back to Wembley. That's pretty much the story. August 30th next year, they have announced All In, what will it be, 4?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically.
Oh, because the 2018 one,
first one, going back to Wembley Stadium, going to be interesting to see what they pull out their ass for this one. Obviously, the last show was really, really great, but it was obviously ticket sales were slipping. I think they still did like 50-something thousand. Yeah. So it's not like they were struggling.
No.
But it's going to be interesting to see what they do for this one. Obviously, coming off the back of All In Dallas, and also throws out some questions about a Wembley Arena WrestleMania at some point, because WWE doesn't tend to like running buildings that other people run. So does that mean that's out the window?
Well, I do think, I hadn't really thought about it from that point of view, because this is this news finds, I suppose, AEW in justifiably celebratory mood after the success of AEW All In Texas. The return to Wembley Stadium shows ambition, and I guess it shows belief that there is a crowd to be found again.
Yep.
It's weird, isn't it? You can look at All In 2024 two ways. You can either look at it as a 40 to 50,000 gate in wrestling is incredible by any metric ever. Or you can look at it as a percentage downgrade from All In 2023, where they kind of smashed all records. It was between 70 and 80,000, believing whatever number you want to believe, and that's a 20, 30,000 drop off.
If they get that same drop off again, is it diminishing returns, or have they found their level? Or they're being very careful about how often they run England or the UK in general.
The year's gap, I guess, is Forbidden Dow taking place in a couple of weeks at the O2, but that is a hell of a jump up attendance-wise.
Yeah, it was only last year that they did the first Dynamite in the UK in Cardiff.
There's an opportunity this year. Dallas was definitely more of a week-long event. They are, and look, I know a lot of AEW fans don't like the terminology here, but it's the easiest shortcut to go to. They are definitely creating their WrestleMania week around All In, which is smart business when you're asking as many wrestling fans as possible to divulge around one single place. Maybe we're just speculating. Obviously, this could be another UK Dynamite, possibly another UK Collision. Maybe the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that took place on the Friday before All In All In this year. Wouldn't rule that out. We're a smaller island in Texas. There's about 5 of us that can fit into one Texas, so they can do a bit of travelling around and they can easily kind of get the TV on the road. I think there's reason to be cheerful for this Wembley Stadium show. Again, a year's gap will hopefully make a difference for them. They're running Dynamite in Glasgow, I think, out of Forbidden Dow this year, so they're definitely keen to get it a bit more on the road and out to the buildings. And your WWE point is an interesting one. There is still lots of loud calls. We hear them here in the UK, and we see them in the comments all the time for WWE when they are shopping WrestleMania out and looking for cities to bid now for Wembley Stadium to be on WWE's shopping list. However, maybe this will be the difference. Maybe they'll not want to sort of share turf with AEW, as it were. There are other similar-sized venues in the UK. Tottenham Hotspur, your old haunt. They've got a new stadium which is seen as the flashiest football stadium in the UK, but it's not as big as Wembley. They simply cannot statistically claim to have done as big a crowd as All In 2023. This does sort of throw WrestleMania at Wembley back into question, I guess.
Maybe Sadiq Khan didn't like his teeny tiny belt that they gave him.
That's on WWE. That was a real optics loss, wasn't it? Yeah, he's been sent a full AEW world title and he's put it in his office next to his little... those guys. So yeah, it does seem to maybe delay the possibility of WrestleMania at Wembley. Not necessarily WrestleMania in the UK, but WrestleMania at Wembley might be back. Tony Khan, I think, didn't make any secret of having like good business relationships with those at Wembley. He was able to go back to back. It was only, per his own words, Coldplay that stopped it being 2025. I think it was good of the break.
Yeah.
I think the break has been
definitely.
welcome for the business. I think there'll be a thirst again next year, especially if AEW stays on the trajectory it's on.
It's a lot to ask that many people in the same building every single year.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it would be for WWE. Like
totally,
this Vegas thing is probably going to be a diminishing returns from last year's Vegas.
Yeah.
But and if they kept
For WWE, not for
WWE,
not for us.
Yeah.
Not for us. We can't wait to plug that stuff.
Not excited at all. But like it's a lot to ask in it, and I think it needs that sort of going on the road, and it'll make it feel that bit more special when it is like it's the new city gets revealed and things. It's like that's an exciting point of WrestleMania. Is it coming to my city kind of thing.
I just can't believe that already, despite it being August 30th, 2026, we've already got the Crystal Club booked down across the road. It's going to be your best pre and post pints. We haven't really, but like, yeah, who knows? We've got some unfinished business in London, haven't we?
Yeah.
It'll be nice to close that book next year. But yes, it's bank holiday as well for those in the UK that are wondering, that haven't yet checked their Apple calendars. Bank holiday Monday on the Monday, which means for those of us in the UK, there'll be less people racing off to work and stuff. It's a kind of opportune time to book your big stadium centrepiece. So yeah. AEW, come back to Wembley Stadium. We'll see how that goes. Do you know who won't be there, and thus it won't be as good as 2023's card? Is CM Punk. Remember when he stole that show?
It was only 3.5 stars.
Scuffle backstage. He will be, presumably, unless things have blown up there, still with WWE. And
There's always time.
You just never know. But it seems to be, at least, that things are going from strength to strength between WWE and CM Punk, specifically Triple H and CM Punk. Obviously, amongst the many reasons why his return was always seemed unlikely and then improbable and then, oh my God, it's happening, but this is when it's going to blow up. It was the kind of butting heads between those two, going back years and years and years and years. But things seem to have changed quite a lot. Punk did an interview with TV Insider. He's headed to SummerSlam, obviously, to take on Gunther in what presumably will be one of the main events in that now two-night first ever SummerSlam Stadium edition. And he said, quote, "Between me and Triple H, there is so much more of an understanding. I've advanced in my life to a point where I didn't have the perspective I did before. For him, likewise, he's advanced in his life where he didn't have the experiences and knowledge he didn't have before. Me and him, I think when we were both on the main roster, we were talented guys. It was adversarial because we were competition. Now we're not. We're on the same page. We want to help the next generation and guide them the right way. Look, I love working with the guy. It's amazing. It's really a treat. I think we've only scratched the tip of the iceberg." He's not shying away there, is he?
What a difference, like 15 years makes.
What a difference 15 years and probably even more zeros make. I'll tell you what I love about when CM Punk talks on stuff like this. Not only is it just weird, but also how he's just basically advertising on main that like his new friendship with Triple H is in part about taking Triple H's best friend's job. Because he really wants that NXT role, doesn't he? Aye. You take this two ways. You either love CM Punk and you think, wow, that means this WWE deal's going nowhere, there's going to be no explosion. You hate CM Punk, you go like, suck up, he's capitalist, he's killed yet another dream. It's the Punker. It's always
gone back on all of his values.
Yeah, it's another one.
It's another one. Just another one. The whole thing.
List.
Yeah. I mean, asking about Triple H like 12, 13 years ago, it would have been a very different answer, and there would have been no respect there, and he would have hated working with him. So it's
said it on a podcast.
He said it on a podcast quite a lot. Not one bit of respect there. But time is a healer of all wounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe he has just grown up a bit. Let's face it.
He got his WrestleMania main event this year.
Well, did he?
Well, yeah, he got half of WrestleMania. Did he? He got a big WrestleMania match this year.
He got a big WrestleMania.
He's got a big SummerSlam match this year.
Yeah.
He's a big draw. He can still lay a bit of claim on that Saturday night's main event best rating, like his tag team with Sami Zayn thing, outdrew the Gunther episode, the Gunther Goldberg one. There's lots of like ticks in the win column.
To Saudi Arabia, he's always wanted to do that.
Yeah, he broke a lot of promises. But that's the Punker, right? Like
like a classic
it is kind of vintage Frail. You take him warts and all, don't you? And there are always plenty of warts.
But what do you think about his newfound best friendship with Triple H? Let us know down in the comments below. Finally, where the hell is Shida?
That's what I've been asking.
Where is she? Where is she, everyone? Well, Fightful Select have a little bit of news on her. They were asked just kind of where they were. Someone was expecting them to see her in the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And Fightful Select say she has been battling visa issues for quite some time. I don't know if they ever ended up getting rectified, but she's back in Japan pretty much all year, from what they understand. Kenny Omega was looking after a cat, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And she hasn't wrestled in AEW since November, and people were surprised that she wasn't at World's End since she lives in Orlando. Although not anymore, because apparently she needs to be in Japan. So difficult visa issues. Visa issues are a pain in the ass historically throughout wrestling. Just ask Mike Bailey.
Yep.
So you've got to get this kind of thing right, and there's no point risking it if it's not all completely set. So I don't know what the hold-up would be. She's been working in America for a while now.
Yeah.
And you'd think it would, once like you're in, and it'd be a lot easier. But I assume they are working very hard to try and get her back. And we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've had similar cases that you mentioned, Mike Bailey, but like with the quote-unquote majors before the likes of TNA, AEW and WWE, there's been like sort of visa issues where no matter how long you've worked, or especially something like in a public-facing thing like national television star, you'd think that kind of thing would be some of the easiest stuff to prove, and yet, it's all an admin
National
thing,
television star with big paychecks.
Indeed,
America love people with big paychecks.
That's it, yes. The money they have flooded back into that system, and yet. But I will say this one feels different this time in that often one of the reasons it gets reported upon or noticed is because the talent is featured in a prominent role, and then whoosh, for some reason they're just taking off a pay-per-view PLE TV show. So what's happened there? Obviously with Shida there's maybe been a bit of an awareness of that, and they've had to lift her from certain situations. But yeah, the World's End example was one. You know, the fact that she wasn't a surprise member of the Gauntlet when she was speculated as one of those names that might have featured, because she's such a cornerstone of this AEW women's division. You know, going right the way back, she was kind of the pandemic gatekeeping world champion, had that like lengthy reign, was huge and instrumental in putting over Britt Baker as a champion way back when, and then got it going into All In 2023 at Wembley as like it was like almost a reward reign, wasn't it? It was like, we want to send you in as champion for all that you did for us when there wasn't these crowds and things. So I think she's a missed presence in the fact that she's a legacy player more than a weekly regular.
Yeah.
I love that Kenny Omega's got a cat, by the way, because there's brilliant Kenny Omega animal lore. It's always that idea of him, like, in my head, when Brawl Out occurs, he rushes into the locker room. There's a fight everywhere.
Like diving on a grenade to pick up Larry.
Somebody cover Larry! Like, while all the other Young Bucks and CM Punk are just scrapping in like a little squiggle of a bundle, he's like just covering Larry or something like that. And I quite like Kenny Omega animal lover lore.
Somebody think of the animals.
But yes, I guess hopefully sooner or later this is ironed out and Hikaru Shida can get back to doing what she does best. And in the meantime, Phil, if I'm Hikaru Shida and I'm kind of trapped between these visa issues and that, like, I'm probably just going to watch like linear television, just get the upper and downer and flick, because like I don't know how I would find anything to watch on the internet.
No, that's ridiculous. I would grab your phone, and if you're a Shida, like you're stuck in Japan, but there's still lots of places you can go to see in Japan. Like if you live in Tokyo, you can go to Kyoto or like other places and things like that, and she can continue her journey throughout Japan. Just like you can continue your journey throughout YouTube right here.
We'll always see you soon.